Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel again. If you're familiar, talking to you from our room. I'm alone, it's late, I couldn't sleep, and there's a topic that I wanted to talk about, and that's why I'm making this video with the intention of posting it to my YouTube. Hopefully I will post it. I don't know. For now I just feel like talking to myself, so I will. Basically, I've been having a hard time with abandonment. I've been having a bad time with being picked, chosen, and it's got me places mentally because growing up, I never really cared about being chosen. I didn't care about being noticed. I didn't care about being seen. I wasn't already all of the above. I was just comfortable with it. It felt convenient because I didn't have to conform or perform anything. Like, you kind of didn't have any expectations or responsibility from other people if they do not care about you, if they do not like you or do not notice you. But now that I'm grown and now that I know people, I care about that. I care a lot about that. Yeah, so as I was saying, now that I do give a shit, and now that I want people to want me because I want them, and because love, right? Community, hello. I have to be a certain way. Now I have to be responsive, which I didn't have to do before. Especially growing up lonely. It's not like I had many people to interact with. I have to be responsive, which is, obvious. That's how relationships work. You give and take. But I have been in relationships, and by the way, when I use the term relationship, I mean it in a general, broad sense. I don't mean only romantic. I also include platonic, family, even like one-time era interaction of someone I've been weirdly intimate with in some way, and then we separated, or it's like, like a relationship. Got it? So yeah, given the relationship, the examples we've got, the experiences we've got, most of them are not good, and not in a, well, I'm barely working with anything, but like not like they weren't toxic or abusive or whatever. They weren't that serious, but they did leave an impression in me that is affecting the way I behave. So maybe it wasn't bad, but never should have been in there, but it was bad impactful. Like, it wasn't bad, it was impactful in probably some negative ways. Right. Even without them, I essentially do have I barely can pronounce the word abandonment. I essentially do have abandonment issues. They got intensified, and with that came in the attention seeking, because I do want attention. I do want people to look at me. I do want people to want me to be their friend. And a specific pattern that have occurred in my life is, or maybe it's not factual, but I sure did feel like that multiple times. Like, I'm not saying it's true and it happened, but I did feel like it, so it is true to me. When I say it, it doesn't mean that it's true, it's just that it's true to me. Okay. A certain pattern that happened to me is that usually I'm with someone, a friend, we're getting close, but then at some point they always seem to forget about me and end up getting closer to someone else or prioritizing someone else. I am a very jealous person. But I am reasonable, I am patient, and I am not angry and impulsive, so I never really did anything about that. But it did stick with me in a way that's like to compensate for not reacting to it. You know, the feeling of realizing that there's always someone better than you who's going to be prioritized all the time over you. Instead of reacting, I internalized it and I turned it into, oh, I have to be the best I can be so that that person wouldn't even begin to consider looking away. It got to a point where I don't want to be enough. I want to be the best. I want to be the favorite. And I want to be the favorite. And to decide on something like this when you're already a messy, raw, random, carefree character, and you know, such characters are treated a certain way. They're not usually taken, like, they're not impressive. I do not take myself to be an impressive person. And in my head, the way I define impressive is that if I'm impressive, then I get eyes on me. If I get eyes on me, people will want me. Person will want me. So now you want to project a version of yourself into the world. This person, mind you, you don't even know yourself that well. You're just eyeballing everything based on, like, you know, what's gonna get me picked, what's gonna make me look the best. So you start trying desperately, pathetically, as hard as you can. Mind you, you're artistic as well, so you're not really good at faking and acting shit. So it's a weird phase I'm going through. Please, 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 please spend time with me, please, please, please. Do you want to hang out? Nah. If you want to be the favorite, if you want to be the first option, the first, you want to be a priority, you want to be perfect. And you know how I feel about being perfect. Okay, you guys do not know how I feel about being perfectionism. Basically, I think perfectionism, especially as an artist, it's something so counterproductive. Like, what do you mean you're holding back from doing something just because you're scared you're not going to be good at it or perfect at it? What do you mean you're struggling to, like, share something with the whole world because you don't deem it to be worthy of that by your judgment? What do you mean? What do you mean there's no line that you're willing to stop at. Well, there's a difference between, progress and growth and constantly burning yourself out. And it takes insanity to be perfect. It takes fuck ass insanity to be perfect. And I don't think if I had to, like, as an artist, again, if I had to pick between being perfect and being authentic, because I don't think perfectionism is authentic, by the way. If I had to choose between being perfect and authentic, I would pick authentic. Because one is, again, if I'm going to be perfect, I'm going to be insane, which consequently, eventually, will destroy me. I don't want to go down that way. I think that's a very sad way to go. But that's like maybe an extreme case that I'm mentioning, but there are even some smaller cases where it's like just so sad, right? So sad. And even not as an artist, even in relationships and like being a person, being a human being in general, I think excuse me, where was I at? Yeah, even in like a family, being a person, functioning as a normal fuck ass human being. Don't even get me started with that part. Trying to be perfect at it and getting everything on point for the sake of being the best and having eyes on you it's also unrealistic, dude. Like, do you really think you're going to have control over everything? So yeah, this rambling is entirely about how I do not want to be perfect. I don't fuck with that. I don't know. No. Not me. I am not going to be a perfectionist. At all. My words. Which is interesting. Okay, this is a little bit off topic. I've been seeing a psychiatrist lately, and I had to talk with her, and at some point, like first session, and at some point I mentioned that if I get my hands into something, that I obsess with it and I'm not leaving it, I'm not letting go of that activity until I've finished it, until I've done all I could out of that activity. And she looks at me and she goes, oh, so you're a little bit perfectionistic. And I get defensive about it because you know how I feel about perfectionists now, right? I was like, me? No, I'm not a perfectionist. This is not what I meant. And it made me realize that there's quite two distinctions that I want to make. Being like, this video is not about perfectionism. How did we get here? I'm not even halfway through my point. Bear with me. There's a certain distinction between what I was telling her about and perfectionism. What she understood it to be was, well, let me explain to you first how I do it. What I was trying to tell her was basically, for example, an activity, let's say crochet. I'm crocheting something. As a neurodivergent myself, if I get my hands into a yarn ball and a hook, and I have a project plan in my mind that I want to execute, I'm not gonna let go of the activity that I'm doing right now until I've finished it. And by finishing it, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that the project is done. It means that the urge I had inside of me, the crocheting urge I had inside of me that I wanted to consume and do, I have to do it until it burns, like not burns out, that's not the term. It's like until I'm satisfied. I'm not gonna let go of whatever I'm doing until I'm satisfied. It doesn't matter if it's perfect, it doesn't matter if it's done or finished, or if I end up making a mess. I don't mind that. I don't give a shit. I just want to get that urge of doing said activity out. And if I'm not satisfying with what I'm doing, if I'm not satisfied with what I'm doing, then I'm not gonna stop until I'm satisfied. It's this, it's like, it's pretty, like the feeling I get from doing that is similar to skin picking. If you know, like, if you skin pick, you know what I'm talking about? Like, you know, when you cannot help yourself from picking your skin, or like taking your strands of hair out, or biting your lips, or biting your nails, or I don't know, maybe pinching yourself. You know that satisfaction that you get out of it, that you cannot like, that's the same feeling. That's the same feeling. And I feel like this is it's not, like, it's not bad. Like, to me, I do think it works for me. Me being myself, knowing who I am and how I operate, I think this is great. The only obstacle is capitalism. There is a correlation there, but I won't explain it with that. I won't explain it with that. The problem is time. The problem is time. Sometimes, you know, we all do have a calendar schedule to keep up with, and we cannot. There are just certain appointments that we cannot. I don't know how to say. You know, I don't know the word. I don't know the fucking word. English is not my first language. Sorry, guys. But you know, like, you cannot reschedule. I cannot reschedule. I have to be there. And what if that day, that specific day, I want to go rock climbing. My brain has decided to go rock climbing. I have the urge to go rock climbing. I do not want to be wherever I should be right now. I want to be somewhere else. Rock climbing. That's inconvenient. And that's something that I live with every day. What she understood is that I want things to be done. I want a project to be done. I want to prove myself to be capable. I want to be in control. That's not the case. I mean, I do want to prove myself to be capable, but it's not because of perfectionism. So when you bring that idea, okay, so going back so that I don't forget what I was talking about, I feel like I'm losing you guys, like, with my train of thoughts. Basically, how this idea goes back to what I mentioned before about, you know, abandonment and wanting to be the favorite, and what it has to do with perfectionism. And I am a grown-ass adult with a brain. I am intelligent enough to know better than to do that. I know better than to do that. The urge is there. Not the urge that I was talking about earlier. The urge of doing something in order to get something is there. The hopelessness of it all is there. But I still know, I still think. I still know that it's wrong. I still know that it's not what's the word? Optimal? Effective? Because let's be honest, people do not pick each other because one is better than the other. People just have their people, their kind of people. A person has their kind of person, and they're just together, and they end up being together better with that person than they are with you, because that person is just their person and it's nothing personal. Yeah, it should be like that until it gets to a fucking point. Because what do you mean everyone has their person but me? What? Actually, no, I do have two best friends. Hi besties. Hi besties. I love you guys. And you are my person. I love you. But I don't know, even with my best friends, I still feel a sort of distance that I feel like neither of us could ever cross. I don't know. I'm at this point I'm confused. I no, at this point it's not that I'm confused, it's that it's like I don't know what I want, and it's like my expectations are too high. It's like I'm not being realistic. No. I mean, I am known to be a motherfucker who wants to feel everything, but things not adding up in the equation. I'm being blind. I'm being blind. I'm being blind, right? Maybe I'm seeking elsewhere. No, maybe it's the value. You know, people bring different values into one's life. And I appreciate the ones I have a lot, and I wouldn't trade them for the whole world. But sometimes there are some qualities in a person that I wish I had in my life as a partner. Again, when I say a partner, it doesn't have to be romantic, it could be anything. As a partner, and you know, it's just like I don't know. Okay. I don't know. It's like with everyone I'm with, it feels like the clock is ticking. And I want to be sure to make sure that whoever I'm with has no option but to stay with me for life. Which is manipulative and controlling and all of that. But can you blame me? No. انت تحول الأرض. I want to sleep. I have an exam tomorrow. An exam that I haven't studied for, by the way. But that's besides the point. Well, my essential point that I wanted to make the video about in the first place was that you may feel like you'll have to be something you're not in order to be a person, human, whatever that is. But it shouldn't be that way. Why does it have to be that way? Why do people have to think that they'd have to change something inherent to them that isn't malicious in order to get something that's like low-key bare minimum? It's like, it's unfair, it's inhuman, and it points out, it's like, it doesn't point out, it's like, it's proof of an underlying issue with how people operate in our society right now, which goes back to capitalism. But you know, it's this like, I'll explain it in other terms other than capitalism, but within colonialism and the isms, bro. Regardless, I'm not gonna be that YouTuber. Anyways, I'm not gonna be that YouTuber. That's so funny, I just said that. Basically, it points out of a lot of people are emotionally neglectful, which I don't blame them for, because our society doesn't teach people to be observant of others' needs. Like, you know, you see a social group and everyone is getting along, everyone is hanging out, everyone is having a fun time, but there will be moments that will slip through minutes, like in between minute, like, you know, there will be a moment where someone is going to feel a certain negative way that they're going to internalize, and the domino effect. And I feel like we tend to. This may have something to do with social cues, and I'm not saying that I'm the best at them. Trust me, I'm horrible at social cues. But I just think that this would have been better. It would have been better if people could just notice, like, you know how when you're reading a book and sometimes you just have to read between the lines in order to understand something? Same way in a social setting. So, like, as you're having fun, maybe try to look between people to see if there's an underlying meaning or message. Like, not meaning or message, but you know what I mean? It's like, maybe this person is feeling uncomfortable, maybe this person is like, and it's not just like a momentary hangout, it's like in an extended period of time, like knowing everyone, getting to know people and getting to know what relationships they have between each other, and getting to know that, oh, this person has something with that, and this person feels that way, and this person's personality based on this and that. And you have to be like, okay, so knowing what I know based on my knowledge, I can tell that this person is struggling with this, and I don't think anyone could deal with that alone. So maybe us, as part of the social group, can reach out. I think that's a quality that is very lacking. I mean, I'm not saying, it's not just the obvious, like, I'm not pointing at the obvious thing. Like, let's say someone gets fucked over and everyone knows. I'm not saying that, like, obviously a friend group is going to help each other out. I'm running out of breath. Forgot to breathe. That's crazy. Seriously forgot to breathe. But like, it's the little things, right? It's the little things. Little things. You have to be observant. You have to cater to everybody. But everybody's, like, you know, thoughts and shit. You're going to be like, oh, character A is, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm weird about this, maybe I'm strange about this, but I often feel like I suck at social cues, and I come off as very distracted because I'm trying to pay attention to everything all at once, keep up with everything all at once, and I'm someone who sucks at multitasking. Like, I want to, like, okay, maybe this is just personal, maybe, I don't know, tell me if you relate. But like, in a social setting, I'm trying to pay attention to everybody, and I hate when I'm not paying attention to everybody and trying to focus on only the person speaking to me right now. It's not bad, it's just like uncomfortable, and I like feel like I'm missing out on data. Right. Whatever that means, which could mean nothing. Right. That's not my initial point that I wanted to make a video about. But well. Yeah, you don't have to be perfect. You can be just good. You can just be yourself. You're like, yeah, yourself should be enough. And if you do not, like, okay, but I want that one, Mom. I want that one. I want that one to want me. I want that one to want me. I cannot tell you about that. I still do not know better about that. Like, I still fixate on certain people myself, so I cannot tell you about that. I can just tell you to be yourself, which is something you heard before, of course, but from a different perspective this time, maybe. I want that one. I want that one to want me. Kill yourself. Or get over it. No, it doesn't have to be that way. 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 Killer whale, killer whale. I think about this song like twice a day. I listen to it like every day. I love this song. Gotta be one of my favorite genders. I swear to God, I love this song. The ocean washed over your. People can tell. People. I'm such a stereotype. How does one end a video? I feel like I'm still dragging this on because I feel like I still have something to say, but I'm not sure. I don't want to forget. Because once I turn this off, I'm not contributing anything more. Contributing? No, that's not the word. Adding anything more. Hey, we're on a date together. What's your name? I don't know how to spell that. Anyways, my name is Ryan. You spell it R, not Ra. Yeah, you American fuck. Where are you from? Right. I should have thought. I should have guessed.